We're talking about improvised guitar fundamentals, and we're in the key of C today. There's a C major 7 chord and our C major scale. And when we spell a chord, we start by doing take a note, skip a note, take a note, skip a note, take a note, skip a note, take a note, and that would yield this chord. Right? I just moved the third up an octave in this voicing. Okay, now that's a C major 7 chord. We've got the arpeggio, we've got the scale, and we've got the chord sound. Now let's take that. We're going to stay in the same key, and let's take that to the 2 chord in the key. Now we call this the 2 chord because it's built on the 2nd degree of the C major scale. Okay, and now if I play that up here, let's say I do this here. This is just a C major scale. And there's my 2, right? And here's my arpeggio. 1, 3, 5, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. So now we have a 1 chord. All right, so I say that we're in the key of C because this chord of D minor still wants to pull back to C. It wants to resolve to C. So we can't call this some kind of crazy mode or anything. We can't call it a mode. I'm not going to talk about modes because we're in still the same key, using all the same notes of a C major scale. Okay. Now that gives us the 1 chord and that gives us the 2 chord. And from here, we're going to flip to the 5 chord using still only the notes of a C major, right? So here, and the scale that we're playing in each case over the G is just start on the G, right? As an exercise, right? These aren't necessarily hard and fast rules, but what you want to do is be able to identify the name of the chord and the scale sound that starts from the D, right? But overall, again, we're still in the key of C. All right. Now, so far what we've done is we've built a chord from the C major key of C major and the scale of C major, and we've gone 1, 3, 5, and 7, yielding a C major 7 chord. Then we go to the 2 chord and we do the same thing. 1, 3, 5, 7, right? Take it through, right? And then the scale underneath, and then the 5. The same thing. There's my flat 7 resolution. 5 really wants to go to 1. 2 wants to go to 1, but most commonly we'll probably go, especially in jazz standards, to the 5. And there it is, the ubiquitous 2-5-1 progression. 2, right? 2 5s, and we'll look at those in greater detail shortly. So now we have 3 different chord sounds. A one chord sound functions as a state of resolution, meaning the root chord. The other is sort of more wandering. It'll be happy going back to the 1, but most commonly it will continue to the 5 chord. The 5 chord has this very strong tritone, which wants to resolve to the 1 chord, right? Okay. So always think of tensions. Think of tension and resolution. And in the case of a 2 chord, it's sort of a medium tension. In the case of the 5 chord, it's more tension, and it really wants to resolve back to the 1 chord. So there's our 2 and our 5, 2, 5, and back to 1. Well, what we can say about this in terms of the melodic material that we have underneath these chords is, because these chords come from the same scale, meaning the C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C scale. The C major has a C, E, G, B. The D minor has a D, F, A, and C, and the G has a G, B, D, and F. If you take all of those notes together and bunch them up, you'll have the whole major scale. And so what does that mean? That little bit of theory. It means that if you want to play 2, 5, 1s and you can't analyze what that even is, you're going to be making your life a lot harder. When you do know what it is, you can look at D minor 7, G7, and C and realize it's all going to be in the same scale. I mean, there are other things you can do, but let's dig into the foundation, right? So the 2, there's 1. Those are all the notes of the chords, and you can hear the chords moving, right? Even though I'm playing single note lines. I think I threw in a 9 there or something, but that's okay. It's allowed. All right. So that's it. This is what you got to keep in mind. We've got 3 distinctly different chords, each with their own level of tension and resolution. The 1 chord is a state of resolution. The 5 chord needs to be resolved. It needs resolution. And in order to build these chords, all we've used is 1 scale. And because we have only used 1 scale sound, that scale sound will work over all 3 chords in this 2-5-1 progression, and we'll look at more 2-5-1 progressions in actual songs. Okay, that is about it for this one. Chord progression, numbering, and function. Think of tension and resolution as well. Thanks for stopping by.